Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be watching episodes 2 and 3 of Haibane Renmei, and we're very excited to be doing just that. Yeah, we're back. After the first episode last week, we're just going to, I guess, try to establish what the show's even about beyond that first episode, which was, I would say, on purpose kind of obscure and not revealing everything yet. We're just going to try to get a baseline for what this thing even is, like even genre. Like, are we trying to figure out the mystery, or are we just kind of vibing? I don't know. Again, that's what we're doing here today. As I explained in Apothecary Diaries this week, as well as on the Discord, I am currently without internet, which is bad, considering I run a Patreon and a YouTube channel that requires internet. So I'm recording this with no internet ahead of time, I guess, before the video will come out. Again, based on everything that's happening, it should be tomorrow that it should get fixed. Fingers crossed, I hope. As a result, in this section in particular, it's going to affect the YouTube comments, which I'll read off of my phone, as well as the Patreon shout-out. I can't get up-to-date names there, so apologies to anybody that I may miss. I'm using the list from a few days ago now, 4 days ago, something like that. So yeah. And again, in the video itself, I won't be able to look things up like I was doing last week. So if there's something in particular that I'm missing because I can't look it up, that would be the reason why. Either way, if you're watching these videos on Patreon, you have the YouTube comments available to you if you want to tell me anything about the series, or just anything at all, really. It's up to you. You can leave a comment and I'll read it right now. I've got one from Glank in front of me. Very cool. And excuse me whilst I look down and look at my phone and read it. Very excited for this one, voted it high along with Fully Cooley. Unlike Fully Cooley, been a long time since I've seen it. I've been seeing this general sentiment around as well on like Discord and other places, just like, oh, it's been ages since I've seen this. It'll be actually good to have a rewatch of it. So maybe that's one of the appeals of doing these older shows as well. You can actually grow to miss a show before rewatching it, if that makes any sense. Glyke here in particular says 8 years since the last time they've seen it in particular. And particular shoutouts to the vibes and atmosphere of the show, which are just very immaculate in a way that's hard to articulate. Hard to express is what we say there. I'm with you. I'm interested. There's this, again, general dreamlike quality to the show and the backgrounds and that kind of stuff that I'm curious of. I'm also cognizant of the fact that this could all be fake. Again, we're keeping an eye on it, right? Second paragraph, we go into the OST. I said a couple of times that it was quite prominent, and I really enjoyed it. Again, there's some stuff there with the audio mixing that I think could be a little bit better, but again, we're going to take the good with the bad. Apparently, the composer is, if I can look at my phone, Cole Otani, who is famous for his work on Shadow of the Colossus, among many other things. I'm not particularly familiar with Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, I know what you do in the game, and I know, like, the ending, so that's like, enough. But again, I kind of see some similarities there between Team Eco's work and what's happening here. At least a little bit. There's a general somber, quiet, abandoned tone to everything. So again, if you're getting the similar composer there, similar vibes, just makes sense to me. And yeah, all that's contributing to the atmosphere in the show. I would agree at a very early juncture that is what we're doing here. So yeah, that's the YouTube comments for this week. Let me get up that list of Patreons and we'll do that shout out. As always, if you wanted to be that 1 week ahead on videos, $6 a month on the Patreon, linked in the description below, if you wanted to do such a thing. Many people have done such a thing, such as Mickey Babbers, Trails++, Backslash, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Gus N, Heath, Ika, Yako Yarvanen, Joran, Kelvin, Kimskell, Clem, Nosta, Cont Begemot, Lou, Mish, Mistake L Chen, Nailu, Parnik, Pencil Sharp 333, Ron Lad BNK, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Voeko, Without a Net, Zan Echo, Yuki Ali, Zach, Binchy, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, Aiden O'Brien, and Funny Fat Guy. Thank you to all those people for the money this month and subsequent months and months in the past. I enjoy money. Yeah, Haibane Renmei, let's talk about it. The show started with a girl falling out of the sky. She fell out of water into the sky, into the other sky, into the cocoon, and then she came out of the cocoon, and now she's grown wings. So again, there's that butterfly metamorphosis connection there. She's got a artificial halo on her head, and apparently we're at a new location called Old Home. I should say girl's name. Girl's name is Raka. She is named this episode. We don't know her name before that point. There's also Reki, who is the other character there that's kind of taking us along this journey. Seems like the other main character, if I was to guess at this juncture. Seems to be a little bit older. Seems to be a little bit, more versed in the location and what the hell's even going on there. Again, as I talked about last week, there's general overtones of heaven and afterlife and lots of different stuff. It was a pretty interesting and jam-packed first episode. It took a dark turn at the 11th hour, I would say, in that scene where the wings were growing and that kind of stuff. I found that interesting. Again, it seems like a show that's going to be nice and comfy and bright and happy until it isn't. Maybe it's something in that kind of area. Again, I'm just interested to see more, so we're going to jump into episode 2 of Haibane Renmei. Again, Patreon. Again, Discord. Again, like the video and subscribe. We're going to jump into the second episode here today. Oh, I should mention as well, I'm going to do both episodes back to back, so I'm going to do 2 and 3 here today. I'm going to do 2 and 3, and then come back tomorrow and talk about them in a little bit more detail, kind of similar to how I've been doing Apothecary Diaries. So, yeah, that's the goal here today. We're gonna watch 2. Alright, I'll bring them up now. Rightio, I have an Unimaginably Bright, episode 2 of Haibane Renmei up there ready to go. 22 minutes and 56 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I've procured the Tesseract authored version from Nya, should be very similar to everything else that's out there. It's the DVD version, should have the subs that are on the DVD version. Make any sense? I think that makes sense. Either way, there will be a picture-in-picture in the description below. There's also an opening, so I'm going to watch for that as well as we start right here, right now, with a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Opening. Acoustic guitar. Instrumental opening? Shooting star motif too, which I think is interesting. Yeah, and going with the instrumental opening here too. Unique. I won't have to look at lyrics then, which is another plus. POV. I like that too. Oh yeah, I want to look at this logo too. Again, and translate it when I have internet. Town and wall. Wall is interesting. Toga Haibane Renmei. What is happening? Cool. At least we added that hospital gown type beat. Do you have to cut holes for wings in your clothes too? That's kind of... I never thought about that. The show seems concerned with logistics in a way that I really like. Yeah, what it would actually be like to have wings. Kids being kids. I've been busy. Okay. Thanks, Mom. Laughter stops. Okay. I mean, I'm just chilling. calming, but concerning, I would say, is the tone. Yeah, that's an interesting thought, actually. Uh, can I? I don't know. Let me try. I'm not good enough yet. Why not? It's cool. I guess if they're still healing. What, for the Halo? Interesting question. Get these kids out of here. I just told you. What? They're moving a little bit. Oh, here's the rest of the gang. I'm better. I'm feeling good. This is just Kaon with extra steps. How much property do you own? Yeah, a little bit, alienated here. Joining a new close group of friends that's already close. Odd. Oh. Okay, so not everybody follows it. Okay. Shorter? Yeah, great question. Oh, okay. What an interesting image. Who doesn't? Let's explore. I want to see more about the setting, so this is good. I've also got 3 children here. I can't just leave them by themselves. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I forget that person's name. They're always fucking running. Got somewhere to be, do ya? Annoys me. Boo. Now they're alright. Yeah, I think we played this track last episode too. I really like it. If I was to highlight one motif, it would be this one. The strings. Yeah, what are we powering? I guess we're cooking and stuff. So sure. Mm-hmm. Anything? What's with the wall? It definitely had that kind of vibe. True. Ooh, love that word nest. Old lady? Who the fuck was that? Um. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so not everybody's a fucking Haibane. This is like the town where like humans live that's like nearby. And the humans just chill about all these people with wings that are born out of cocoons. That's a can of worms. I'm confused. Professor Layton ass village. Mm-hmm. A lot of old dudes. Oh, it's a young lady. Macklemore? What an odd thing to say. Never call it a wing slit ever again. I don't like that. Ad break. Yeah, very funny. I'll never get over that fade to black. Oh, literally me. Uh-huh. Uh. Yeah, I don't want... There's like socks and underwear and stuff. I don't want that. This is a school uniform. What the fuck is this society? Are you some wing slits? Yeah. Yeah, but no, but that's not what you're wearing on the poster. Okay, so she's just going to be in a school uniform now. I can dig it. Maybe it's indicating some stuff too that she gravitated towards that. We'll see. This episode has only produced more questions about this whole society. Okay, so Haibane Renmei is the organization. Okay, society. I have to work for my money. Oh, I wonder where Rako will work. It's another interesting one. What is this Attack on Titan shit? Okay. Okay. What in the world? This is the most sus thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Yeah, like a sign language of sorts. Sus. This whole thing is sus. Shut up, bitch. There's that crow again, huh? What does it all mean? Some weird, like, death shaman people to bring us goods from the outside world. There's walls everywhere. Hmm. Maybe it's like information's being suppressed. Shock horror. No, forget about that. You're in heaven now. Oh, like Santa Claus. You're expected at the temple? Oh, yeah, look at the hair going again. Yeah, just lie. Just scare her more. Okay, bye. Comfy, sure. I'm sure we'll live in blissful ignorance forever. Oh, hello. Literally me. Just stares at the wall when I come home. I brought you pizza? I just said. Anyway. Also, you gotta eat. Whoa, okay. Too much emotional strain. Oh, Halo's sitting there now. Yeah, that's nice. Again, that's a symbolism chat room. She's become ingratiated. It's good. Maybe. Me when I have to talk with more than 3 people in a day. Yeah, quite a comfy episode structure too. Waking up in the morning and then ending the episode that night. We take one day for one episode. And to be honest, I'm kind of with Raka there. It was overwhelming. There was an overwhelming amount of information in that episode. Um, yeah, I don't even know where to start. The show is very different than I thought it would be. It almost seems like a. Again, I know it was well before Attack on Titan, but kind of like Attack on Titan, where it's all about suppression of information, about perpetuated lies, about a big wall blocking the outside world from what's inside. It's intriguing. It's a good mystery show in that regard. I want to know what the go is. Why are things the way they are? Who set this up? What's going on in the outside world? It begs the question of if this place here is so nice. Again, this whole heaven vibe to it all, right? Beautiful countryside, nice town, everyone's nice, all that kind of stuff. Why rock the boat? Why try to find out the secret? Begs that question, of course. But mostly I'm just like, I'm really calm after that episode. I don't know. Something about the show. Yeah, certainly an intriguing one for sure. And yeah, we'll roll straight into episode 3 here as well. So let me bring that up now. Radio episode 3 up there, ready to go. 22 minutes and 56 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. Yeah, should be very similar to most other stuff that's out there, of course. Also, picture in picture in the description below. We did mention a temple, so we may be going towards said temple, I guess. So yeah, looking forward to it. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so that bright light I see at the very start of the episode, though annoying, is obviously playing off of that light in the in the water there. That very first visual we saw in the show. Again, I was getting the vibes of like a different reality or something to that effect, but no, it seems like it does have. There is an outside world per se. It's just a matter of getting out there and seeing what's out there and communicating with somebody that's out there. Of course, there's red flags there everywhere. They have their own unique style of communication where they hide their mouths and do a bunch of gestures that nobody else can decipher. It's like, okay, well, they're up to no good. They're keeping secrets. Reki is one I want to follow as well. Seems like there's something there. Character with a lot of melancholy. Do you know more than you're letting on? Again, we will see. And again, that's that logo for the Haibane Renmei. Temple Communicator Pancakes? Hell yeah. I am recording, which is also a plus. Definitely am. Yeah, the plant motif too, especially with that opening into this scene here. Yeah, if I am a small sapling that's growing, what are these dead plants? Thoughts? Terrifying? It jumped out and attacked you, I saw it. Is your hair gonna keep doing the static thing? Yeah. Adorable. Love it. The fuck? Someone's driving a car in here. Ghosts. Hella ghosts. Why are you freaked out? Where the hell are you sleeping? Oh, yeah, up there, okay. Oh, yeah, because I'm falling? Yeah, got it. It's cleaner than my room, I mean... What is a real one? The whole place is messy. She never wants to eat. Hikari and I are going to the temple. Yeah, love the lighting there. The smoky haze of the room. Huh. Don't want to get too literal, but she kicked the bucket. Thoughts? It's just home base. It's where we all hang out. Oh. Law? Let me guess, it's against the wall. Okay, bye. I want to watch every episode of the show like today, but I can't. This is JRPG bullshit. I'd be terrified. This is a fucking Dark Souls zone. I don't think you assuaged my fears at all. What? Don't run. Okay, whatever. We're fine. I ran because it was scary. That's gonna fall. Yeah. Could we not build a better road to the temple? Can I talk to any civil servants in the area? Yeah, look at this fucking built into the wall bullshit. Terrifying. Fucking hella sirens outside. Scared the shit out of me. Organized religion. Cool. This is really weird. Okay. Sure. Yeah, a garden. Spiral garden. Wing movement seems important too. One of the things that was emphasized by the children very early. Thank you for... No, one of them. She's throwing. Yeah. Thank you, weirdo. Also, imagine establishing a system of yes or no questions and then asking a question that isn't yes or no. No, weirdo. I like their synchronization there. That was cute. Alright, I mean, I don't trust the skull people. It's true, yeah. Not the noise pollution. I don't know, I don't have a job, I'm kind of unemployed. Just gonna go home. At least I've got, like, money now. I've got my, like, little book. My concern is that the book is finite, no? It's the way I understand it. What happened? What did you guys do? Wait, they didn't eat? Oh, pot kettle black. Hmm. Can you tell me, like, some more context? Just in general? Go to McDonald's, as you do. Ooh. Society. So true. Okay, yeah, bit of a career day. Is this a Japan thing? Carrots are like one of the things that kids actually eat here. Reki and avoiding eating is one to follow. For sure. But I do like them. I'm trying to think of a vegetable kids don't like. Like broccoli, I guess? Kids don't like broccoli. Maybe a zucchini. They don't like zucchini very much. Don't care. You're horrifying. Stop smelling me, weirdo. Yeah, she smells like cigarettes. What was that? Everybody wants to make pancakes? That's a great motivator. Yeah, look at him go. Oh, carrot and stick. Okay. Pancakes is never something I would go out and buy. I would always make them. You won't get pancakes. Well, like a savory crepe? No, I'm not a absolute moron. The hell are you wearing? Got that lane drip on. You were on the hill before, no? Yeah. Great question. Is the halo inside the hat? Well, that's your whole thing with floating, right? With the wings. That was your deal. Seems like an indicative question. Also flying. We're just vibing. Put 'em to work young. What an odd thing to say. Oh, senpai, I like the sound of that. Thank you, senpai. Delete that. Crow's still hanging around? Yes, I am different from a crow. Very true. Well, if you wish hard enough, things may occur. Wait, is this bakery in the next state? What are we doing? Oh yeah, this is quaint. Okay, nice. Do you guys have a hell of pancakes? Because we need like 20 of them. And that's only if everybody wants one. Yeah, she's working. When your friends go see you at work, bro, I'm working, I can't talk. That's that bakery timing. Oh, like Halo donuts. Sure. An interesting fry pan. Oh no! You're gonna get ass beat from those weirdos. What's wrong? I don't see the issue. Oh, carrot cake? You don't say. Oh yeah, they're like pancake donuts. What the fuck? Would that even be good? No, it'd be all gooey on the inside. It'd be gross. The whole thing about a pancake is surface area. Confusing. I want to see like an airplane go overhead or something. Just something like fucked up. Basically anything with strawberries and cream sounds pretty good to me. Oh, you want to clean your halo? There's no fucking bakery juice on it. Get over it. Maybe a reason why you're all frizzy though. Is that it? I was expecting another scene. Yeah, definitely another vibey episode for sure. Just learning more and more slowly. Definitely the more interesting part was the temple stuff. Just yeah, bits and pieces about the society, what the Haibanes do. A little bit of future stuff for Ku, maybe, with this want to fly and the hat and some other interesting questions. The youngest one is kind of questioning the world we live in. Okay, why can we speak to each other, but why can't animals speak to us? Again, I know the reason why, but they maybe don't. Yeah, continues to be an interesting watch. Just in I'm still puzzled by it a little bit. I think it's almost Yashike in spots, but there is a mystery in the background that's definitely concerning, I would say. A really close analog in my own mind, weirdly enough, is something like Girls' Last Tour, where, you know, there's more going on there, but we don't even address it. It's kind of that vibe. Watch Girls' Last Tour as well. It's very, 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 very good. And yeah, I guess we'll leave it there for today. Thoroughly interesting set of two episodes. It wasn't what I thought it was based on the first episode at all. Definitely a way larger society, a way broader society, and our roles are a little bit simultaneously less confirmed and more confirmed. You know what I mean? My questions were in different areas, and I guess I'll go into that a little bit more tomorrow as I talk about the episodes in a little bit more detail. Intrigue in a lot of spots, but also it's just kind of comfy as well. I feel like I've meditated. Have you guys ever meditated before? Just kind of sat down in a room, had a little bit of music going, and just kind of be left alone with your thoughts, do a bit of breathing, that kind of thing. It's left me with a similar feeling like in here, which I think it's nice. I don't know. I can't pigeonhole this show, and it's kind of fucking me up. Anyway, I'll talk about it more tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you then. And we're back. It's the next day. That was Haibane Renmei episodes 2 and 3. What did I think? I was pretty impressed. To the kind of the first episode's major point, I'm getting a little bit more of the hook of what's actually going on and that there may be something involved here. Even the shot here, I'm looking at it. This is a very interesting structure for the town now that I'm actually looking at it. But I have a bit more of a concept of what the go is, I guess. Because again, it's not just going to be a show where we kind of chill with these guys forever for 12 episodes and then it just ends. It's going to have a point to it. There's going to be reveals. And I got a sense of what those reveals may be around. And that's what I'm probably going to center majority of the conversation on today, not to discredit the other thing which I noted earlier in the previous segment, that I think the show just overall has a really unique tone. It made me feel really calm while watching it. And I just like how it flows from scene to scene. It's something that I haven't seen before to this level in this format. So again, I'm intrigued to see what's the go with the world, but I'm also just happy whilst watching it, which is half the battle when you're watching anime, I guess. So like, it's doing wonders. I think it's quite an intriguing show, very different than what I thought it would be thus far. Again, weirdly enough, as I mentioned just before, one of the closest analogs I can think about is Girls' Last Tour. And again, if you have any kind of understanding of what I think about that show and that story overall, then that is nothing but the highest of praises. Yeah. It's hitting that kind of area. Either way, we've got an opening to look at first and foremost here, so we'll go through that. I wouldn't imagine it's going to be particularly long. It's accompanied by a piece of music, obviously pretty good music, but with no lyrics. So there's nothing to really jump off of it on that point. I don't have lyrics for the ED either, so like... Anyway, we're just going to see what I can see visually here, I guess. Maybe there's some indications. I would say the major motif of this opening is this shooting star. So that's an interesting piece of imagery for a number of reasons. One, it gives a, I guess, wider perspective to the first-person perspective we got in the first episode, right? We saw something falling from the sky. We saw something make a landing in the first person, implied to be, again, Raka. Now we see it from everybody else's perspective. We look up into the sky and see what this actually looks like when it's entering the atmosphere. So again, that's just begging more and more questions about how all this is even possible. What is the outside world in this regard if this is what this looks like? What's the go with the crows? Anyway, we'll figure it all out in time.
I forgot to finish the rest of my point, but shooting stars are generally indicative of wishes. Did somebody wish upon a shooting star for this to happen? Is there some kind of mystical element involved, even though I'm largely foreshadowing a sciencey kind of science fiction-y thing? One to follow. Who wished for what? There was a kind of line in episode 3 as well about Ku wishing for various things, whether it be the ability to fly or to float in the air, or to be able to communicate with the crows, with the animals. So, one to watch maybe.
Yeah, this was the shot we got in the opening episode, and just kind of like that zoom in, and then, yeah, obviously, Raka in the shooting star. A lot of bubbles, a lot of water, that kind of stuff. This kind of visual combined with the ED, of course, as well. I think this here is probably the best shot of the opening. It's a first-person perspective, again, in Raka's POV, just kind of panning in kind of a really shaky cam style to all the different side characters, right? As I said in the first episode, it really gives off this impression of meeting a new close group of friends for the first time, being kind of introduced, almost indoctrinated into this new group, and just kind of swinging your head around and trying to gather as much information as possible. And of course, the most prominent piece of imagery in the opening is this little plant bud coming out of the floor here. This is the same room as we found her in, that the cocoon was in, right? So it implies that, hey, shooting star falls, the Raka is inside, becomes plant then grows into cocoon, and then from there we come out and Raka is Raka, right? Again, if you wanted to connect that to this whole caterpillar butterfly extended metaphor I have going on, then a plant is a crucial component in that as well. It is the source of life in that kind of life cycle, eating the leaves and so forth. Again, growth, change, metamorphosis, how will all of these things manifest future when we find out more and more stuff about what's actually going on here. Again, if I had internet, I would get, I'm going to imagine this is French, I would get the true title here. I believe, yes, somebody on Discord said Charcoal Feather Federation, something to that effect. So maybe that's what we're getting at here. Charcoal is an interesting denotion as well. Because we noted specifically that Raka's wings weren't charcoal or they weren't black, they weren't white, they were somewhere in between. So does that indicate some stuff as well? Again, along with the contrast between the darker and the lighter colors involved here as well. As soon as I saw this episode title, Town and Wall, I had a pretty good idea about where we were going. Again, it's not exactly a unique concept about having a giant wall around the town, which is keeping knowledge from getting in or out. Even specifically here, we have that logo again down here too, so even part of the show, maybe a fourth wall element to it as well. We'll see. Pretty obviously, this episode is symbolizing Raka's ability to adjust to this new environment. It's kind of that's the entire thing, right? She's got a kind of headband propping up her halo at the moment. She's struggling to get the wings in the wing slits in the back of the clothing. Still don't like that term at all. But by the very end of the episode, she's more comfortable with her wings. She's more comfortable with the halo. She's adjusted to the system. She's adjusted to the town. She's made some friends. Yeah, that's what this first episode seeks to do, and I think it does it quite well. From these scenes of initial struggle with this kind of really generic piece of clothing, to the later scenes where she's quite relaxed, goes to bed at night, has a new set of clothes, and is ready to go the next day. I think there is some trouble with, I think she gets a little bit faint at the end of episode 2, but other than that, it was a pretty successful day out. Quickly we pan back to Reki. She's being, I guess, interrogated by these little children, which is fair enough. It's her prerogative to be interrogated, I guess. We find out here that she works a lot with the kids. So why aren't you at class? Why aren't you assisting with the old lady that's the other teacher as well, I think, right? Assisting with the young feathers. I'm taking care of Raka. Fair enough. Just some nice early context stuff. I think this show is very directed in a pretty subtle way. We'll kind of keep tabs on that as we continue here. But just very early on, as I've said, Raka is the outsider here. By the very end of the episode, she is with the group, but we're putting separation between her and the rest in this early stage. Again, instantly cutting away from this group kind of dispersing to Raka kind of all alone. Just, again, we will see by the very end of the episode that she is together with everybody else. Now that we're cognizant of the plant metaphor, we'll continue to follow it through the rest of these 2 episodes, up to and including that kind of weird temple they go inside that's full of plants in itself, right? Up to and including big, large trees. Like, people have grown up here into, you know, bigger plants. They've grown up. They've continued to grow. Again, it's no secret we're panning away from all the little kids to a group of plants, right? Again, human as plant metaphor, not exactly super unique, but we're going to follow it through the rest of the show regardless. I highlighted that I really liked this line as well. I don't know this town. Even though I can't remember the town I used to live in, I still know that I don't know this one. Which is I love the sense of mystery there. It's almost paradoxical in its phrasing, but I really enjoy it. The kids find Raka and ask her if she can kind of move her wings to like clap, if they can move them back and move them together, right? Again, Raka is essentially a newborn here. It's not fair that, you know, we're asking her to move her wings that early and that kind of thing. They're probably very painful. You shouldn't overexert yourself. We see that kind of stuff play out a little bit later in the episode when she has overexerted herself. Again, it seems like wing movement overall is very important to society, to communication, to all these things. So again, watching for that as we continue seems to be something that's drilled into kids very early on. Again, every aspect early here just kind of alienating Raka, right? You've got to hold her for your halo. You can't move your wings correctly. The kids that don't have that kind of social ability to figure out that what they're saying is a bit of a faux pas, they don't have that self-awareness, they're just going and saying what they see, much to Reki's disgust. From here, everybody else shows up and we start to have some breakfast. Again, broken record very early in the episode, but these are almost POV shots looking at around the table, looking at all the different conversations going on, with Raka being hardly even included in them. Again, it's not out of malice by anybody else in the group. They're not, you know, trying not to include her. It's just a really weird situation to wake up in. Again, it's a pretty obvious tone very early in the episode that we're getting at. Again, just all about eye contact, right? None on Raka. Raka's just, she's just different from everybody else, you know? It's almost as if this conversation is broken when Raka asks the question of Reki, like, why are you called Reki? Because the conversation kind of evolved onto names, right? And what the names mean. If people are named after their dreams, and dreams are very important to this kind of whole thing, then, you know, Reki, we never talked about your dream. Weirdly here, it seems like the kids haven't adopted this whole thing. They just kind of pick what their dream is for the future. So you want to be a florist, hence Hana. Carpenter, it was something starting with D. And you want to be a baker, you like shortcakes or something. So sure, fair enough. Reki's dream, let's get into this. And yeah, this is why I couldn't get it last week. It's Reki as in Galreki, meaning pebbles. I was walking on a stone-laden path on a moonlit night. Moonlight night? Weird. Yeah. Again, my major theory had been around like, okay, this was their cause of death before moving on to whatever this is. Now that I see that this whole situation is a little bit more set in the real world and not a different plane, I guess, it's harder to justify said theory. The dreams are still relevant. I think the dreams are relevant to your life before you started here now. Again, we'll see this pay off at some point, I believe. We're going to see how Reki was before, whether through flashback or some other means. We're going to see how Raka was before. We're going to see how Ku was before, and all these other characters, right? That's what's going to happen. This feels like setup. Moving on from that scene, it's quickly suggested that we have a walk around town. Again, it's a great way to do exposition and to learn some things about the world. Reki continues to advise Raka that she is still recuperating. She needs to take it easy and all those kind of things. I think through the fun of the day, she kind of forgets this little warning and kind of gets the comeuppance by the very end. Not that any of it really matters at this point. Reki's going to stay behind and kind of clean up the rooms, help to switch. Again, inherently kind of a selfless character, I think. I'm warming to Reki. I continue to warm to her. I love the scene at the end of the episode where she's made food and kind of Raka comes home late and doesn't eat with her. It also brings up the query of you and eating, which you haven't eaten yet in the show, which is something that I'm noting. Again, it's like, okay, I'm going to give up my room for you. I'm going to make food for you. I'm going to move into this studio so you can live here. I'm going to take care of the little kids. Again, is that your job? Do you get paid in your little notebook for that? It's unclear. I don't know what's going on there. Do you even need to eat? Is that anyway, lots of stuff to watch for with this character. But again, I am warming to her. I like her personality. Another focus here is these little name tags that we kind of flip around when we leave and when we're inside, right? I'd imagine this is something that's pretty similar to what's around at schools in Japan, or very early on schools in Japan. Just a kind of attendance thing that you would do, a custom that you would do every day. Again, it is another thing which Raka can't do at the moment, which she can do by the very end of the episode because she has a little name tag, right? She becomes ingratiated. Again, the main thesis of the episode. I do see a connection between Ku and Raka on some level, just considering the similarity of their dreams. It seems like you two look for each other a little bit. There's this connection where you're almost like Peter Pan flying us along, something like that. You're pulling us into the adventure, pulling us into this society. There's quite a poignant conversation we have with Ku during episode 3 that we'll highlight as well. Seems like an important character and an important connection here. Yeah, I'd say this whole scene here, before we get in the conversation, has a general tone of whimsy that I quite enjoy. Hey, this new world, as weird as it may be, as many question marks as I do have, it does seem pretty fun. We have some brief contextual information about Old Home. Used to be a school. There's an old lady house mother. Pick any room you like. It's kind of just chill. We kind of moved in there because it was abandoned, which is an interesting note as well. We also then see here, more pertinently, that there is just like a human. Okay, because Raka wouldn't know that. She doesn't know that humans are here as well. She just thought they were all Haibane. There's a pretty explicit denotion between humans and Haibane as well, which is interesting. What does it mean to not be human in that regard? Can of worms for sure. Another line there, which is pretty important as we continue, is that Haibane kind of use leftovers from humans, use things that humans aren't using anymore, hence the need to take secondhand clothes from the store here later on, as well as the whole concept of old home, right? It was abandoned. It was something we moved into, like hermit crab style, you know? Yeah, so we're not allowed to own things on our own. We're not allowed to have property, per se. It's only upon an actual human losing the need for something that we're able to gain it, which is an interesting dichotomy, as well as this inherent selfless tone, again perpetuated by Reki, that the Haibane do have. Again, things to watch. I have been praising the show for its animation and that kind of stuff a lot, but I do like this subtle little moment here for Raka, right? Kind of notices these guys, kind of nods the head, and then kind of gets a little bit embarrassed. She looks down at her clothes, she realizes what she's wearing and that she's around in town and that it might look a little bit weird. Like, people were looking at her is the point there, right? Specifically this scene here, right? Look down, look at this kind of lady that just passed and her skirt, and then realize, oh, I'm a little bit different here. Everybody else has proper clothes on. Everybody else is... Even I feel alienated from two groups of people. I'm not quite a Haibane. I'm not quite a human. I'm kind of somewhere in between. Yeah, and I think the character animation and the little posing stuff there was quite good at getting that across. Specifically, Ku here notices this interaction and says, you know what, let's get some clothes. I noticed that Raka's feeling a little bit uncomfortable, so let's go along and do that. Pretty nice, and again, emotionally intelligent, which isn't something... I don't think you're regularly intelligent is my point. I think, yeah, the emotional side is where you shine. Notably as well, we also have that kind of mid-episode break there that kind of cut to black, which is interesting. Again, I see it quite rarely these days. From here, as I explained before, we're going to take some secondhand clothes. This is kind of a, thrift shop, op shop type dealy. You can kind of take clothes that nobody wants anymore and pay a smaller fee, that kind of vibe. Specifically here, we also have a sewing machine in the back. We can put wing slits in these clothes that were originally meant for humans. This guy's pretty brief, but I like his characterization. So sees that Raka's a little bit nervous, allows her to pick out one item for free. Hey, she's kind of hiding behind one of the other Haibane. Let's do something nice for her. Let's help her feel involved and that kind of thing. But for the rest of the Haibane, I'm used to you guys, and yeah, you get this box of used underwear or something. Not quite as exciting. Again, just helping the new person. It's a nice thing to do. Interestingly enough, it seems like Raka is kind of drawn towards the school uniform here. Again, is there some semblance of your consciousness that remembers your past life and that you may have been in school and all these other things and want to wear such a thing? Maybe. I'm just keeping it there because it seems like it's a otherwise weird thing to want to wear. Why would I wear a uniform on purpose is my point. Again, you could squint and be like the analysis dork and say that you're seeking conformity, you're seeking a group of like-minded individuals, thus you go for a uniform because everybody would be wearing the same thing. Maybe. But again, maybe there's another reason there. Now, this is one of the aspects that I'm still a little bit unsure about, the notebooks. So you get a Haibane notebook from the Haibane Renmei people here in a second, and it serves as your money. As I said, nice guy, puts in the wing slits for free, essentially allows her to take it for free as well, because just give me an IOU, give me a feather and a name. Again, notices that the uniform doesn't have the slits, makes them for her. Very well done. After that whole little scene, seems like she's a lot more happy with her appearance and that kind of thing, smiling in the reflection and so forth. Again, putting on my nerd cap, there's a lot of stuff about kind of the precipice of the water and crossing between underwater and over the water. This could be getting across something with that, potentially. Then we get to talking about the Haibane Renmei, because they were mentioned in the previous conversation. They're the organization that guarantees our living. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate? That's a really interesting turn of phrase. Very specifically here, Haibane aren't allowed to earn money. So you jot down in the notebook what you earned from your work, and then you use that to buy things. So, okay, let me get this straight. How does a business operate if they're not receiving currency? Make any sense? Are they then passing that off to the Haibane Renmei and getting some kind of payment off of that? Is that how this payment system works? Or is, there's some kind of subsidy in the government of the local area for the Haibane? Again, just an interesting denotion. I think all it's meant to do societally is add to the separation between humans and Haibane. They are different. I want to separate these disparate groups and so forth. Is there actually that much of a difference, or is it some kind of grand design of some kind? Yeah, maybe. I think you guys are still humans, is my point. An interesting thing to watch is do they grow up? Has Reki been growing up, being the oldest one here? Is there some kind of suppression of aging involved? Maybe. Again, I'm just trying to figure out the mystery a little bit too early, maybe. I should just kind of let it happen. Now, here's where we get the biggest taste, right? A crowd is gathering. We're going to follow them over. I love this panning shot here over to the wall, over to the gate. We know that the Toga must be here, and that's why people are gathering around. The first thing we see with the Toga is these robes, along with this evil dog type character. Yeah, not a good omen early. Yeah, this seems ominous. This seems fucked up. And from here we learn a whole bunch of extra exposition and context about the world. Okay, so there's a big wall, right? Attack on Titan style. Huge wall separating us from the outside. That implies that there's an outside. That implies that there's a whole world out there and that we're in our little slice of whatever the hell's going on. Again, it's the clearest indicator right now that what's going on is some kind of grand design. There's some kind of purpose for this place being the way it is that is controlled by an external force. Both the Haibane and the townspeople are forbidden to go outside. The only exception are the Torga, right? They're the only people that are allowed to go outside, and then they give us stuff, right? That's how we get supplies to continue to be able to live. Hence why everybody's gathering around. This is essentially like the supplies came to town and we're allowed to eat again. Awesome. Standing next to the Torga are the gatekeeper and the communicator from the Haibane Renmei. So here's the gatekeeper. We're keeping an eye on him. He's probably going to be a character, right? If he's the guy that controls the gate, he's probably the only town person that has any kind of indicator about what the outside world is even like. Probably a character to watch. It is forbidden to communicate with the Torga in any way. To avoid conversations being overheard, they adopt a sign language type technique to communicate with each other. For the communicator in town to hear, and for these guys externally to communicate with the town. Now, this speaks to an explicit suppression of information. Why would they want to do that? What are the Haibane in this regard? Are they important? Is this some kind of grand experiment? Is there somebody watching us and studying us? Maybe. Is the world outside fucked? Is every other part of society apocalyptic, and this is the only slice of paradise that's left? Which begs the question, would I give up paradise in its isolation for the rest of the world, for that exploration, for everything that comes along with that? And apocalypse. Garden of Eden type areas too, if you wanted to be that explicit too. Again, this isn't exactly a unique premise. Again, I can think of two off the top of my head. Promised Neverland and Attack on Titan. Very, very similar vibes to this whole thing, right? Both of them nefarious in nature, which makes me think that this might be nefarious in nature too, again acting as counter to the general overall calm tone of the show. There's a very ominous tone here to Ku, who then kind of yells out and thanks the Torga, which kind of garners some attention here, which is overall, again, if VLC wants to behave. He kind of looks over and it's a bad vibe, is my point. And then, yeah, kind of Raka notices something, turns her head, and the crows are going crazy. So what does that mean? Yeah, kind of you looking at us, along with the crow kind of cawing, the skull on the head, the symbol of death, the wings and the halo of afterlife, the whole concept of the cocoon and rebirth, the plant growing and metamorphizing into something new. Lots and lots of stuff thematically to get at. But it seems like Raka is important. It seems like you're looking at her for some specific reason. Slams his staff on the ground, which causes the crow to then run away. The crow then kind of swoops them and keeps an eye on them for a little bit as well. Yeah, the crow is still cawing here as we're walking away. It's definitely keeping an eye. Again, almost maybe it's not a crow, maybe it's a raven, which again, in cultures past, had been used as scouts and so forth. So, kind of keeping an eye on different people through the ravens. Is that a concept too? Asking the good questions here, what's beyond the walls, nobody knows. They surround the entire town. I've read every single library book and nobody mentions anything about them. It's almost like information is being suppressed. You can't learn what's outside. That would ruin the plan. This seems like a pretty important question as well. I wonder if the town I used to live in is somewhere beyond those walls. I would say it's almost guaranteed. Again, I don't think you guys have died and been reborn the way you think you have. I think it's more of you've been put into this situation from whatever's happening outside. Again, symbolically, it's still a rebirth. It's still a chance at redemption, but do you still grapple with that old life and what you used to have? Again, if the technology exists to be able to do this as well, it would speak to a suppression of technology as well. This kind of town that's been frozen in time. Again, what is the halo made out of? It's not magic. It's made out of some technology or something, right? It seems anachronistic. I don't know. Either way, we come back to Old Home. We have a message from the Haibane Renmei themselves. You're expected at the temple tomorrow. Welcome, newborn Raka. The Haibane Renmei seem pretty well connected as well, already having learnt Raka's name from that interaction with the op shop guy, as well as providing her with a little name thingo for Old Home as well to kind of make her feel more ingratiated. From here, we separate with the group of friends and we're back into the room. VLC, behave. And from here, we meet back up with Reki again. We place a few things on the bed and she's very quietly just kind of sitting in the place. It's very cute. She was waiting to eat with us. Didn't even notice us walk in, was too focused on looking at the window and smoking. So Reki is an interesting one to watch here, right? So Raka goes back out here to make her some tea. She doesn't want to eat anything because she's been working all day and gets all dusty and so forth, right? So then you disappear into the next room and then you kind of drop your guard somewhat and kind of sigh and lean back. Again, we know from the next episode that you're plagued somewhat by dreams as well, so maybe you're just tired overall because, you don't sleep very well. And again, yeah, you start to close your eyes there a little bit. I think you're just tired. Let's just... It's nothing more than it is, you're just tired. You are then rattled awake by the kettle because Raka has, I guess she's gotten a little bit faint, a little bit anemic, just kind of overexerted herself throughout the day. Again, she's still like a newborn, she shouldn't push herself that far, all those kind of things. We specifically say here too much emotional strain. I don't know if that's like literal or just... you'll tuck it out from a big day. The wings in particular are really tender at this moment. This is also the moment where the halo finally sticks. Again, a bit of pain at that final moment of the episode of Metamorphosis. Yeah, really comfy scene to end us out on. Again, you're kind of mirroring Reki's selflessness back at her, saying, hey, you should go sleep. Oh, not until you sleep. Oh, not until you sleep. All these, trying to out good person each other. I've also specifically noted the structure of the episode, kind of starting with, Raka waking up and standing in front of the mirror and getting ready, looking a little bit frazzled, looking a little bit unsure, and then ending the episode, of course, with her in bed, asleep, relaxed, calm, and way more sure about everything else that's going on. Again, as I said, successfully ingratiated into whatever the hell's going on here. And moving swiftly onwards to episode 3. Now, something interesting about the opening as well is that it runs a little bit shorter than most openings. Most openings are 90 seconds. This one's about 75. Again, it was a different time, I guess. There was less standardization there. I don't know, weird one. We start our next scene off in a mysterious place. Raka has been tasked with bringing Reki to breakfast. Specifically here, we're in the abandoned part of Old Home, the place where nobody lives except for Reki now. She's been kind of separated in that regard. This used to be her studio because she paints, apparently. But she's living up here now because Raka is in the guest room now. Or, yeah, was in where Reki used to be. That makes sense, I guess. I wanted to note here that the pot plants in the background, the dead kind of plants, giving off this tone of abandoned. If a growing plant that's green and alive is, life, is a human, then what is a dead plant? A dead human, an abandoned human. I do like this general characterization detail for Raka, where there's this static electricity that exists between her halo and her hair. Just think it's cute. It's continuing to be a thing. It's also an indicator that, hey, if this is producing static electricity, it's probably some kind of electronic, as I've said, anachronistic. This scene kind of exists to freak Raka out in a cool way. With this kind of haunted house vibe, there's kind of shit falling everywhere. She gets startled easily. She hears Reki scream and then walks in and finds her draped in a bedsheet looking like a ghost. There's also some markings on the floor which shows that somebody has dragged something into this room. Again, probably a stain made when you were moving shit about, I think. Reki is pretty shaken up about all of this too. She looks pretty fucked up. This is one of the recurring nightmares that she continues to have, which kind of plague her. In a show that's so much about dreams and analysis of dreams and what dreams used to be and kind of this lucid state that even the world is in, I find this kind of stuff fascinating. Does this indicate something that happened in your past? Are you dreaming of stuff that happened that has been suppressed because your information has been suppressed, memories have been suppressed? Something from the outside. We're all about mysteries here as well. You've got a painting studio apparently, but we're not allowed inside because it's really messy. On one level, yes, you have been shown to be a little bit sheepish about mess and so forth, right? But what are you hiding? Why can't I see your paintings? You say you're not a real painter, but what does that even mean? Do you know more than you're letting on? Maybe. Again, I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here. Just, yeah, whenever anybody forbids people from entering certain places, I want to go. Maybe it's the game in me. I want to go see what's going on over there. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but again, denying herself food. I'll eat later. I don't want to go join you guys for breakfast. I think this one here is more that I had a bad nightmare. I just want to be left alone for now. I'm just kind of working myself back into it. I've got my little cigarette. I'm just going to have a moment to myself. Just kind of help myself feel better, dull the pain and all that kind of stuff. As you can see here, it's like a really greasy lighting on this particular scene. Real focus on the bright light shining through the window. The bright light behind you giving you an almost angelic glow. And then, yeah, this kind of reaction as soon as she leaves. Kicking the bucket here, so to speak. Maybe you have recurring nightmares of your own death. Death, in quotation marks. One to follow, maybe. Yeah, again, I'm watching. We linger on Reki after Raka leaves a lot. It seems like you're wrought with something. Something you're not telling her. Something you've been forbidden to tell her. You're putting up a bit of a facade right now that you drop sometimes. You get frustrated a little bit. Yeah, lots and lots of stuff. Again, that same dream again, kicking the bucket there. Maybe that dream of my death. Maybe the dream, whatever has to do with these stones. Maybe that's why you didn't want to mention what your own name came from. It's a little bit of a sore subject for you. In a very cute way, Raka here is a little bit embarrassed at how she operated with Reki. Thinks that Reki might not like her. That's why she was a little bit cold with me in that scene. Maybe that's why she didn't come to breakfast. You're kind of theorizing about that stuff. Again, good level of emotional intelligence. Hikari's here to help though, and we're on our way to the temple. You're on the way to the temple because you're returning the Halo mold. I'm forgetting your name, which is weird. I'm normally pretty good with names. That was a joke, by the way. I'm normally very not good with names. You used to sleep with... Sleep with? Maybe. It's your prerogative, though. You used to room with Reki, so you've got a little bit more information there. You seem like the second oldest, which is another distinction. The temple itself is out of town. It's on the outskirts. It's in a pretty isolated space where nobody normally hangs around. It's also conspicuously against a big fucking rock wall in the mountain there. I wonder if potentially this is another way out. I wonder if potentially all the Haibane Renmei people here also interact with the outside world. Almost certainly. Oh, that's really fun too. Hikari is a little bit sheepish about asking questions about the Halo and the Halo mold and that kind of stuff, because it's revealed later in the episode that you were using it with baking to make, I guess they were like pancakes in a donut formation, which does not sound good to me at all, but again, it's a nice little indicator early in the episode that comes back later. Oh yeah, then we get the fucking Dark Souls PvP bridge. Like, what are we doing here? This seems like the most dangerous shit in the world. Again, maybe it's with the design of the temple that it's in a far away, hard to get to kind of, what's the word? Trepidatious? Let's just go with dangerous. It's in a dangerous location. You wouldn't want to go over and visit the temple. Again, if we're suppressing information, that's to our benefit. Hikari's kind of funny. I mean, this bridge isn't dangerous. Watch me dance on it. And then almost fall over and die. Very cool. Again, adding to the scene here is Raka then running across, making sure that you don't do anything overly clumsy again. Yeah, this is where it almost gets to an insane level. Like, we have to, like, scurry. Are we, like, mountaineering, or are we just trying to get to a location that we're supposed to be able to get to? Like, it's almost... Like, that's fucked up. You shouldn't have to do that. And then, yeah, here's the temple, as I said, conspicuously against the mountain rock formation there. Another symbol of death here is the sickle that one of the Haibane Renmei has. Kind of introduces us inside. Again, always hiding the face, always hiding the rest of the head, the rest of the body. You have, like, fake, almost ceremonial wings on. Obviously got that kind of religious design to it all, gives a cult-like status to everything that's going on here too. I'm wondering why you guys hide your faces. Is there something wrong with your face? What's going on in the outside world? We'll find out. Now, if Hikari was smart at all, she would tell us about all these different weird customs that would go on in the temple that we would need to know before we showed up. like the communication with the wings and the vow of silence and all these other things. Now, in my head, I've been associating the Haibane Renmei and the Torga, but maybe they're a little bit different. It seemed like two disparate groups almost, because the Haibane Renmei specifically are allowed to speak with us here, which was a big no-no before. So the Torga aren't allowed to speak with us, but the Haibane Renmei are. As I noted previously, we go inside the temple and it's a nice little garden. It's even got a nice little fucking hole there in the roof to let the sun in and allow the plants to grow. But again, plants inside a big cage, inside a big greenhouse, right? We're trapped. We can't escape. We must break the world's shell to escape. We hear voices coming from somewhere we can't see, and they say what we're even doing here. One came to return the mold, one is the newborn that we're due to meet. From here we proceed further and further into the garden. This guy looks very similar to the what was his name? The communicator that was near the gate before. And yeah, due to the communication with the wings, no verbal communication, you have trouble moving your wings and working on that kind of stuff. Love your face here as you're trying to like maneuver them around, and the disappointment on Hikari's face. A little bit of a blush there too for good measure. What is this weirdo tree design for the notebook as well? It's kind of cool. It's kind of rad. I also should have noted before, there's like wings on the door. There's wings on the gate out that the Torga came through. So it seems like, again, a lot of these symbols and that kind of stuff are just kind of ingratiated into society. A lot of stuff about plants, a lot of stuff about wings and so forth. Either way, Raka gets accepted. She gets her notebook. She can now earn money and live. Very cool. And yeah, for your town, for the people around you, for the young people in the society, you must be a good Haibane. What does a good Haibane do? Follow the rules. We'll see if this eventuates. We are here, come here when you're in trouble. And then, yeah, a little bit of synchronization as we leave, which I thought was quite fun. Come here when you're in trouble is weird. I feel like you don't want us to come here at all. Maybe specifically there will be no trouble, and that's why they don't end up showing up here. Raka is right here. Hikari was kind of mean by, like, not telling her anything. But either way, on the way back, we see Ku. Or we don't see Ku. They see Ku. We don't end up seeing Ku. Ku's hanging out near the windmills. So, again, Ku's got the whole thing about floating. Maybe the windmills are... Maybe subconsciously he gravitates towards the windmills and that kind of thing because reasons in his previous life, maybe. I'm also querying the windmills in general. They seem like some future tech shit. I'm seeing a post-apocalypse is one of the major things, right? And we've kind of moved into the nest of what happened... Like after the apocalypse happened, we moved into somewhere where there was no humans anymore, and we made it like a society. These windmills on the hill, they seem anachronistic. They seem like something that would have existed before the apocalypse that we're still keeping around now. Something like that. I think they're a clue, especially based on they're kind of rusty. Looks like they've been around a long time. Either way, Raka's on that unemployed shit. She's going to go home while Hikari goes to work at the bakery. They will meet up later in the episode soon. From here, the episode becomes a sub-story about pancakes, which I find substantially less interesting than the whole temple shebang, so maybe we'll go a bit quicker through this section. Again, just helps with characterization. The Reki with the kids is always cute. Raka and her role there. Getting the pancakes was a nice excuse to explore the town again, so lots of good stuff there. Just, yeah, less mystery involved. There's a moment here where Raka is kind of, confiding in Reki a little bit and wants to ask her a question, but then kind of says, never mind. Nandemonai, of course. Yeah, and then backs away. I wonder what she was going to ask. Maybe some overall question about society? Maybe an overall question about the nightmare? Maybe an overall question about the studio? Any number of other question marks we have in the plot? Yeah, a curious moment. I wonder what she was going to ask. Raka here is being a good Haibane by being put to work. She's going to help Reki with the little kids before going off to the bakery later in the episode, which is kind of, a good Haibane is a Haibane that works, of course. Places where the Haibane can work are limited, so be sure to pick one and visit them all and, learn what you actually want to do here. Here we have the young feathers. Here we have the house mother of the old home, of course, as well. And we've served the meal for the day. It has carrots in it. They don't like fucking carrots because they're children, and of course they don't. It's just got like kindergarten vibes. There's like lots of drawings on the walls, big blackboard, eating lunch all together. Yeah, they're just in school. Do you want to work in childcare, Raka? That's the question, right? Well, I mean, I say childcare, it's also schooling. Like, again, childcare is before the age of 5. These kids look like they're 7 or 8 or something. Again, keeping an eye on it. Hey, if you wanted to be a good teacher, then you should eat the carrots, be a good example. Specifically doesn't eat again, specifically gives off the carrots to you. Again, maybe just in an attempt to ingratiate you more, give you a good chance to be a good example for the kids, also because you don't like carrots, but you also didn't eat again. Just watching it. The joke here, of course, you're like a big child, you don't like to eat the carrots, so you're palming it off to somebody else. As I mentioned in the reaction, this is a weird one for me. Kids here fucking love carrots. I don't know, they normally don't like green vegetables instead. They'll eat a carrot. They'll eat a carrot every day. Seems to be a Japan thing, maybe. That and bell peppers. Or capsicums, as we call them here. Normally a thing that people don't like. Maybe they just don't like that bitter taste to it all. Then there's this little kid here. She fucking sniffs Raka and says that she smells like pancakes. You're either lying and just want to eat pancakes instead of carrots, which is probably the answer, or Hikari rubbed off on you or something, because she works at the bakery, so maybe she would smell like pancakes. Either way, from here, it's pretty clear that the house mother just wants pancakes as well, so we task Raka with going down and purchasing pancakes. It also works as a good motivator to get the kids to eat their vegetables. Pretty classic stuff. From here, Raka goes off on her way, rides her little bike over to get some pancakes. Very, very cool. Sees those kids that ran away initially as well, tells them that there's pancakes on the menu, but you gotta go eat your carrots. Again, being a good Haibane. From here, Ku comes along as well, has their stupid hat on, and comes along for a walk. Oh yeah, specifically as directions to Hikari's bakery as well, so thank you for helping. We mentioned a Ku that we saw them on the mountain there before, walking down to get a hat. He has said hat. I think it looks stupid. Specifically here, it kind of floats in the wind, kind of flows along. Again, similar to the name there of Ku. So maybe just like things that float on behind you. A little bit of aerodynamicism there, maybe. This seems like a pretty indicative line as well. If you believe you can fly, then someday you will. Someday? Why'd I say it like that? Anyway, believing you can fly, taking a leap of faith, putting something on the line, taking a risk, is that more of the metaphor we're trying to get across there? If you eventually are discovering things about what's actually going on, will you take this piece of advice and actually take the risk to pursue that piece of information? I think yes, based on this conversation. There's been a lot more crows around town as well. Here's a flock of crows, and they kind of follow us around a little bit. Again, as I indicated before, maybe they're surveillance. Maybe it's like a Raven type situation. This scene here has a general whimsical vibe and a bit of comfiness to it, which I really enjoy. Again, if this is an artificial paradise, it's still a paradise. It seems really nice. There's also this whole Ku thing about wanting a younger sister and wanting to be a senpai and that kind of stuff. You kind of reward this with the whole calling them senpai thing, so sure. Seems to make Ku really happy. Which, hey, Ku helped us last episode, we helped Ku this episode. Seems fair enough. Yeah, getting that kind of burst of energy and wanting to lead the pack as a result. Here's another conversation which probably indicates future stuff. Ku laments the fact that they can't communicate with animals, I think. Sympathizes with the crows. The crows just want to kind of go down and eat some stuff and chill. It's trash to us anyway, so who cares if we feed them trash? If I could have a conversation with somebody like that, with a bird specifically that can fly, that can float, and all these things that I want to do as well, I think that would be a great thing to do. Specifically here, bringing up communication. If I was able to communicate, if I was able to learn more information, if information wasn't suppressed, then maybe this would be a good thing to happen. Maybe that would be nice for society. Again, wanting to achieve the impossible, wanting to break boundaries, questioning why things are the way they are, almost youthful innocence in that regard. Really like it. I think, interesting concepts, again, as the mystery grows and grows. Like, the only reason that the cafe owner is nice to me is because I resemble human, but I'm also not a human. I also have wings. Do you, resonate with the crows? Yeah, again, an odd conversation topic. Again, you're taking the whole kind of Chekhov's gun approach to this. You wouldn't put this in the show if it meant nothing. Clearly it indicates some future stuff. Either way, here's the bakery. Looks like it's straight out of a fucking fairy tale. Yeah, and everyone's hard at work inside. cooking croissants and stuff. Cool bakery, guys. Yeah, specifically here we say pankeki, which would imply pancake, but then when we're over here we say pan, which is bread. So are we getting like a bread? We're just getting sweet treats for everybody. It doesn't matter what they are, I guess. This is the scene where Hikari's secret is revealed, of course. Look at Hikari. She came up with an idea for these kind of halo-shaped sweet treats. We only got the idea because she brought an interesting frying pan the other day. The same thing that made my halo made these fucking little sweet treat snacks. I just think that's neat. I think that's funny. A little bit of characterization for Hikari. She's got a bit of ingenuity to her, but also she's a little bit of a schemer, a little bit secretive, a little bit naughty, maybe. It's just some nice stuff very early in the show. Again, you lose a little bit when you introduce so many characters at the same time, which the show did. It's meant to feel kind of overwhelming. I'm liking that we're going back through and giving each of them a little bit of personality individually. I'm keen to see that expanded upon with the other characters. You seem really, again, is this like a real faux pas for you? Do you really not want bread on your halo? Does it really matter? You seem like a little bit blushy and embarrassed about it. You seem really pissed. I don't know. It's fine. As long as she washed it. Well, specifically here we do mention the house mother there says that you grew taller, but you haven't matured inside. The Haibane definitely do grow up. Interesting. Interesting one to note. Yeah, maybe they're just humans with a few extra steps. Yeah, there's a bit of nostalgia to this scene, right? The real test was for me, after all, to see if I would eat carrots. I used to run away like those other kids, and now I've been forced into the role of actually chasing them. Yeah, again, watching the society grow around her being one of the first Haibane. We end the episode here on a little bit of a comedic scene. Have some more sweet treats around the table where Raka's in the bathroom cleaning her halo. It is an interesting question though, right? Is the halo made out of... It implies that it has some kind of electric property in it with the static electricity, right, on the hair. Is washing it underwater a good idea? Is this anything? It doesn't seem like it's anything, but... begs the question. Yeah, I mean, that ends the episode. It's pretty anticlimactic ending there, actually. Again, I think the better ending for the episode is this scene with Reki back here. I think that's the better kind of conclusion there, and the kind of going from very early in the episode having that nightmare to feeling better about things, feeling better about society. Yeah, one to follow, maybe. Starting the episode in a darker place, ending in a lighter one, predicated on Raka and her deeds. Sure, and kind of seeing this society growing around her. Yeah, but other than that, I think we'll leave it there. Yeah, another interesting set of 2 episodes. I'll reiterate what I said yesterday. I think the show is good. I think the mystery kind of grew very much in these 2 episodes. I have better indicators about what's actually going on, but also more and more questions as a result. The show is generally calming and has this kind of really cool tone to it. Unsure where we're going next, probably just, digging through some more side characters, learning some more information here and there, maybe another run-in with the Torga and so forth. But yeah, I am intrigued. I want to continue to watch all those things that I normally say in these videos. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week for more Haibane Renmei. As always, Patreon. As always, Discord. Like the video, subscribe, and I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.